Did you know that millions of UK pensioners are about to see significant changes to their state pension payments starting this July? The Department for Work and Pensions has just revealed crucial updates that could affect your weekly income and payment schedule in ways you might not expect. If you're receiving the state pension or planning to claim it soon, what's about to unfold could make a real difference to your financial planning. Before we dive into these important changes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our latest updates on pensions, benefits, and financial news that directly impacts your wallet. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The most significant news breaking from the DWP is that state pension rates have officially increased, and the timing of these changes is creating quite a stir among pensioners across the country. Have you been wondering why your pension statement might look different from July 8 onwards? The answer lies in the government's commitment to the triple lock system and some additional support measures that are being rolled out to help pensioners cope with ongoing cost of living pressures. Let's start with the numbers that matter most to you. The basic and new state pension will be uprated by 4.1% from April 2025, which represents one of the more substantial increases we've seen in recent years. For those receiving the basic state pension, this means your weekly payment has increased from £169.50 to £176.45 a week for the 2025-26 tax year. That's an additional £6.95 per week, which might seem modest at first glance, but over the course of a year, this translates to an extra £361.40 in your pocket. But here's where it gets interesting for those on the new state pension system. The full new state pension rate has also seen this 4.1% increase, bringing it to a higher weekly amount that reflects the government's ongoing commitment to supporting pensioners through challenging economic times. The question many are asking is whether this increase will be enough to offset the rising costs of essential items like food, energy, and housing that have been hitting pensioners particularly hard. What makes July 8 such a significant date in this pension landscape? The DWP has confirmed that this is when the new payment schedule begins to take effect for many pensioners, and understanding these changes is crucial for managing your monthly budget. Are you currently receiving your pension on a different day of the week than you used to? The payment schedule adjustments are designed to streamline the system and ensure more consistent payment delivery, but they are also causing some confusion among recipients who have become accustomed to receiving their payments on specific days. The timing of these changes isn't coincidental either. The government has been under increasing pressure to provide additional support to pensioners, and from July 2025, eligible retirees across the UK will automatically receive a £250 cost of living credit along with their regular state pension. This additional support is being positioned as part of the government's broader strategy to help pensioners cope with inflation and rising living costs that have been squeezing household budgets across the country. Now, you might be wondering how these changes will practically affect your day-to-day finances. The reality is that while the 4.1% increase sounds substantial, it's important to put this in context with inflation rates and actual living costs. The increase is based on average earnings growth between May-July 2024, which means it reflects economic conditions from several months ago rather than current market realities. This raises the question of whether pensioners will find themselves better off in real terms or simply treading water as prices continue to rise. The payment schedule changes starting July 8 are also worth examining in detail. The DWP has indicated that these modifications are part of a broader modernization effort aimed at making pension payments more reliable and predictable. However, what does this mean for pensioners who have arranged their monthly budgets around existing payment dates? The transition period is designed to minimize disruption, but there are concerns that some pensioners might face temporary cash flow issues as they adjust to new payment timings. One aspect that's generating particular interest is how these changes interact with other benefits and support systems. If you're receiving pension credit, housing benefit, or other forms of support alongside your state pension, you'll need to understand how the increased pension rates might affect your eligibility for these additional benefits. The reality is that higher pension payments can sometimes result in reduced entitlements to means-tested benefits, creating a complex calculation for pensioners trying to understand their overall financial position. The broader context of these changes is also important to consider. DWP benefits that are linked to inflation rise by 1.7% in April 2025, which means that state pensions are receiving a significantly higher increase than many other benefits. This differential treatment reflects the government's recognition that pensioners have been particularly vulnerable to recent economic pressures, but it also highlights the ongoing debates about fairness and adequacy across the entire benefit system. Looking at the practical implications, many pensioners are asking whether they need to take any action to receive these new rates and payment schedules. The good news is that the changes are being implemented automatically, which means you shouldn't need to contact the DWP or complete any additional paperwork to benefit from the increased rates. However, it's still worth checking your pension statements and payment confirmations to ensure everything is processing correctly, particularly during the transition period around July 8th. What about future planning? These changes are part of the 2025-26 tax year adjustments, but pensioners are naturally concerned about what comes next. The triple lock system provides some protection against inflation and wage stagnation, but there are ongoing political discussions about the long-term sustainability of this approach. Understanding how the current changes fit into the broader pension landscape can help you make more informed decisions about your retirement planning and budgeting. The DWP has also been dealing with some administrative challenges as they implement these changes. Have you experienced any delays or issues with your pension payments recently? The department has been working to modernize their systems while managing the increased workload associated with processing these rate changes and schedule adjustments. This has created some temporary disruptions for certain pensioners, though the majority of payments are continuing as normal. For those approaching state pension age, these changes provide valuable insights into what you can expect when you start claiming. The increased rates mean that your pension income will be higher than previous projections suggested, but it's also important to remember that eligibility requirements and contribution records remain crucial factors in determining your actual pension entitlement. Do you have gaps in your national insurance contribution record that might affect your pension amount? The cost of living credit that's being introduced alongside these changes represents a significant additional support measure. This forms part of the government's efforts to provide fresh financial support to retirees grappling with rising costs, and unlike the regular pension increases, this £250 credit is being positioned as emergency support rather than a permanent feature of the pension system. This raises questions about whether similar support measures might be needed in future years if cost of living pressures continue to mount. As we look ahead, the July 8th implementation date is just the beginning of what promises to be an evolving landscape for state pension recipients. The government has indicated that they are monitoring the effectiveness of these changes and considering what additional support measures might be needed. For pensioners, this means staying informed about potential future changes while making the most of the current improvements to pension rates and payment schedules. The key takeaway from all these developments is that while the changes represent positive news for pensioners, they also require careful attention to ensure you're receiving everything you're entitled to and that your financial planning accounts for the new payment timings. Whether you're already receiving your state pension or planning to claim it in the coming months, understanding these changes will help you make the most of the support available and plan more effectively for your financial future. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on pensions, benefits, and financial news that affects your daily life. What questions do you have about these pension changes? Leave them in the comments below, and we'll do our best to address them in future videos.